Here's the thing with you, I think that you are, and everyone actually thinks this, it's not just like a me opinion. You are someone that can win the Olympia because as far as like where your final shape was,
I was super happy with that.
It was pretty damn good, you know? Like it was pretty good. I was looking at your pictures and I was like, could we have done much more? Like
I think
tiny
little bit tighter potentially, but like we were speaking about before, obviously we pushed it quite hard in terms of maybe getting that inflammation or just that last little bit of body fat off.
Yeah.
Could have been harder, but I'm really happy with my shape. So it's kind of like, I think that's probably sometimes why it stings a bit more because I'm super happy with it.
Yeah.
More than anything.
If you look at everyone that was around you placing wise, you're not the softest, you're not the hardest. So it's like you're right in that perfect Goldilocks zone, you know?
Yeah.
If you look at the top, look at the top two, you're harder than both the top two.
Yeah.
Let's say the top 12, I mean, you're 11th, which is awesome. There's a lot of, so you want to be like in the middle, right? And you look at Jennifer softer than you, Maureen's softer than you, Laura Lee's softer than you, Daraj is softer than you, right? You have like,
but then it also is like looking at what they like on me.
Yeah.
And remember we discussed before, like they just always like me just that touch leaner.
harder, yeah.
Not even harder, but just leaner. So I think potentially like pulling it down more with the muscle that we built, I think maybe potentially we would have kind of cracked that top 10. But again, it's if they liked that, because we still haven't fully got feedback and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Obviously, Attila gave me feedback of the quads, which if you go into your other email. But yeah, so Attila said about quads and abs. So I understand, I think I've seen like loads of photos and stuff now in terms of like what she means about abs. I think, about quads, because I do feel like we could probably have a little bit more shape. Then is it going to be a bit too much? I don't know.
It's pushing it already.
Yeah.
I mean,
my adductors are they're not actually, to be fair, seeing this photo now, I'm like, the adductors don't look too strong there, because I thought they'd be quite strong. But
yeah, I was thinking that it could be your adductors, but then when I was looking at you next to everyone too, I was like, well, when you need, like if you look at even Jordane's adductors, they're actually deeper V. If you look at this group, even Rihanna has decent adductors there. Like you can see a little bit.
I mean, everyone has them. That's the thing. Everyone has that kind of like
detail.
I'm not too sure. I think that's Ariel, maybe.
Oh yeah, probably. But those are some really deep abductors, right? So when you talk about bikini, we talk about being in that like Goldilocks zone, that perfect zone. What I'm showing is like your conditioning was right in the middle. Your adductors right in the middle. Everything's like where that middle ground where you're not the softest, you're not the hardest, you're not the most muscle, you're not the least muscle, right? You want to be kind of there. But as we've learned from you, they do like you. They like you tight. Last year you were tighter. But the competition was also different last year too.
Yeah.
You didn't have Ariana. Girls brought a different look. They went a tiny bit softer this year than last year. I think if you look at the competitors this year, if they would have brought that conditioning last year, I think a lot of them would have been placed a lot lower.
Yeah.
So,
and that makes sense.
Your conditioning, I think, was on par with the trends of this year, even though it might have been a hair. I would have liked you a hair tighter, but based on, look at 1 and 2, they're way softer than you. So based on that, it makes sense with your conditioning. But there's some factors that I think here's the thing with you. I think that you are, and everyone actually thinks this, it's not just like a me opinion. You are someone that can win the Olympia because structurally, your beauty flow, your complexion, your skin tone, all that, your clavicle width, your waistline, your muscle bellies, like everything's there. Everyone's like, yeah, she can win it. No one doesn't think you can win it.
Yeah.
But strategically wise, I think that's where you're holding yourself back a little bit. And I've told you that for years, and it's kind of like, and I don't know how open you want to be on this.
No.
It's okay? Just talk? Okay. So you can't really materialize in like, hey, this is for sure what's happening, And some of the things are going to be, if your preps are going to be extreme, because unfortunately they're having to be extreme because of the off season, you have other things that go into account, like your skin tightening back up too, And that's one of the things that's an unknown factor for us. If that's a true thing or if it's just a guess, maybe it is, but when we talk about, skin tightening up after losing a good amount of weight, it takes a while for that to happen, And how I like to give it as an example is, so we'll use like my shirt, for example. We'll use this. All right, we'll use this shirt. So if I lost a lot of weight, right, this shirt is my skin. If I lost a lot of weight, it's going to take a while for my shirt to get back to like that, right? It's going to take a little while. If I have skin that's a little bit looser and I have like, I don't have a good bicep. If I had a good bicep under here and I'm flexing that bicep and you can't see it though, even though I'm flexing the bicep, you can't see because the skin's just a little bit not tight to the muscle, right? Because I just lost a good layer of body fat. That could be potentially what's happening too, where we're not getting the lines that we had before, even though you have more muscle, right? Because you have more muscle now, your lines aren't as strong because you've lost a good amount of weight and you lost a lot of it, the last 16 weeks, It's and so I think for you, there's two things that will make you, honestly, I honestly think you could win the Olympia within 3 years. I think 3 to 4 years. But all those years really have to be just a little bit closer in the off season. I wouldn't ask you to be like, 12 pounds above off weight because I know how it's going to be harder for you. Staying closer to your off season, to your contest weight. I'm not saying crazy close. I'm just saying staying closer. And then doing shows more in the US and getting in front of multiple US judges where you kind of become, you're just more seen in front of them. Because I think getting in front of more judges and becoming more regular as a winner and beating some of these girls throughout the year, it becomes like more like, oh, well, Phoebe's coming, she won this, or this, or this. Or you're going to be kind of staying somewhere around here, I think 11th place is freaking amazing. Congratulate you on that. But I think you're going to be staying somewhere around 6 to 15 with the current strategy, right? And just calling it what it is. We're kind of like transforming into the show versus...
Kind of going back to what we used to do where I was like competing more, obviously not 8 shows a year, but like a little bit more frequently instead of just doing, because again, we only competed twice this year, twice last year.
Yeah.
So
staying relevant is important,
Yeah, and I agree with that, to be fair. And I think for me sometimes, it's not like I don't enjoy competing, because I do obviously a lot. I love competing, but I think sometimes it's just a lot.
Dude,
so it's a lot, and especially because
like...
I've got so many businesses going on, and like for me, I sometimes find it hard to kind of like, because you'll see, like Max always says, like I'm always like, okay, when I go to the US, I'm going to do this, and I'm all like business, and then like, oh, I'll prep as well. And even you said you were like, you need to maybe make your, prep the priority versus your business. But for me, it's so hard because it's like...
I get it.
Yeah. I don't want to sacrifice. It's not like I don't want to not sacrifice it, but then, yeah.
It's the level of what you're at though now. So that's the thing is, and this is what I want to go to this too, this is like your data. It's the level of what you're at. Here's the thing, right? Because we have to like sometimes say, hey, we're calling this what we're calling this. And this is, we're talking about winning a world championship here, right? Winning a world championship in any sport, being the very best in the world at something, doesn't matter what it is. It could be being the very best at the dumbest thing. It takes so much, and so much sacrifice and so much. And that's one of the things I think that you have to, and that's kind of the decision you have to make for yourself. One, there's two sides of this. One, yeah, there's a lot of sacrifice and it might get in the way sometimes of your business stuff. But the other side of it is, if you're having good off seasons and you're staying active, you're not going to need to diet so hard. It's not going to need to consume your life so much. Yeah. And it's going to be a little bit easier, because how your preps should be, for example, and I'm going to use, just because Ashley's the only one we can use as a reference, because I know for sure what she did. Her preps, she was almost doing no cardio until like 3 weeks ago. And she started doing, the whole prep until the last month, she was doing 2 sessions of cardio, like 30 minutes. And then she started doing like Orange Theory like a month out. And then she really went for it, right? And for her really going for it, it's like an Orange Theory class a day or 30 minutes on the stairs a day. Yeah. Now that's extreme. Ashley's crazy, right? She's crazy when it comes to like staying lean. But it's because it's so hard for her to lose weight, that's why she stays. So, but the example we can take from that is, okay, if I stay leaner, I can have easier preps. And what's the difference of Ashley, for example, getting ready for the Olympia versus a regular health and fitness person who's working out an hour a day and doing 30 minutes of cardio a day? That's like health and fitness stuff. Yeah. That's not like Olympia prep stuff. The difference is just the diet. And then when it's just the diet, it doesn't get in the way of life as much, like that much. You might not have as many outings and things.
If I have less cardio to do, then I have more time to work on business.
Yeah. And here's the thing that I wanted to do too, and I don't want to beat you up, but I think it's I'm not doing my job as a coach if I don't mention it, And so when we talk about your prep, we can go back and we can pinpoint the moment of where you really, like your focus switch, and you're like, okay, I'm here and I'm ready to go and I'm in America and I can put the other business stuff behind for a little while, because we could look back at your prep from here, basically. You came August, right?
That was when I came to Canada. That was when I came to the UK. And then I came to Canada the following, so you could see that big drop, the 73 to 71.8. That was when I came to Canada.
Okay, so when you started traveling around July?
No. Like that point, 73. Then
Okay.
that following check-in was when I was traveling.
Yeah, so if you look at the previous weeks, was 73, 72.8, 73, 73, 74, 75, 74, 74, 74 and a half, 74.6, 75, 76, 75.7, 76, 77, 70. And now, so like that's this time here, which is
13 weeks.
13 weeks, if you're counting I'm counting from here, from April. So in 13 weeks, that's where you made, like 2.8 kilos progress, right? Mm-hmm. From there, it was like you got here and you're like, okay, I'm in it, right?
Yeah.
I'm in it, my business is... And I think that those 13 weeks made the remainder of the prep progressively harder because it was such a minimal loss, those 13 weeks. And it's like 13 weeks, I'm like, man, if we lost just a little bit more here, and I don't know what happened those 13 weeks. All I know is when you got here, everything just went right down. You were just like in the zone, right? I don't know if it was you were in the zone. I don't know what changed. I don't know if you were just caught up in business. I don't know, what happened there, but all I know is the progress was slow until you got here. So really, we had to lose 10 kilos for this prep because 73 to 63 is where you ended up in that time frame of those weeks. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 weeks. I mean, you lost in 9 kilos total in 15 weeks, right? So when we're prepping for a world championship, it's going to be really hard to transform into a world championship and be a world champion, right? Very few people can do that. Mm-hmm. That is the key for you to break through what we're calling the Iron Gate, which is the Jennifer, Maureen, Ashley, Laura Lee, and Issa, right? That's the iron, like those are the gatekeepers, right, of that top 5. If you can come in with that and then cruise in these weeks, we're not going to have to worry about inflammation.
Yeah.
We're not going to worry about grinding and losing, 8 pounds. I'm not going to have to, and this is a me fault. My responsibility is you're transforming so quick. And I see you week to week, and I'm like, I haven't seen any of your tie-ins for a while, right? I haven't seen your tie-ins. We're 16 weeks out or 14 weeks out. We're about 20 pounds above stage weight. When I'm seeing you, I'm like, and then I see you at 10 pounds above stage weight. I'm like, oh, I think she's there. Yeah, because you haven't seen anything, right?
Yeah.
And the other issue is we can't see what you've developed. Is it too big? Is it too whatever?
Yeah.
Like we can't visually see it yet because the curtain's not pulled back. So it's going to be helpful for you. It's going to definitely be helpful for me. But I think it's the difference. And I know I tell you about this all the time, but and you're doing so good that you can just say, hey, this is pretty good. This is pretty good enough. It's good enough. But to get to world champion, that's the next evolution of Phoebe, right? That's the next evolution of, at a certain point, someone gets so good at something, they have to decide, okay, is this worth it to me to get to that next 6 spots, 10 spots? Is it worth it? Is the end result worth it to me? And that's going to be a you question, right? If it's worth it to you.
I think it's still weird because I spoke about it with my therapist the other day. I think it is also a little bit of self-doubt in a way because I still just don't see it happening.
Yeah, everyone sees it happening.
I still don't visualize it. And it was never a goal of mine anyway, but when people tell me, I'm like, okay, you're just bullshitting me or just like, I don't know, something, and that's my immediate thought. So I just think, okay, cool, it's never gonna happen. Like, I say it's never gonna happen, but it could. But I just think that's something that I've spoken with him multiple times, and he's like, I don't know why there's that like block in your head where you just don't believe it. It's almost like self-sabotage in a way, and that's not an excuse either. But that's just where my head's at sometimes with it.
I understand that 100%. I do the same thing, 100%. Like, cause you know my story, and I think I'm like sometimes I'm at these shows. And I'm like with these athletes, and I'm like, I don't even know how did I get here? How I got here, or if I even deserve to be there. Yeah. And I'm like, sometimes like my comfort zone for me is like, man, I just want to stay NPC. Like this shit's hard and it's pressure, and it's like everyone's just waiting for you to fuck up and like and roast you, and it's like I never asked to be here. I'm like I had a great time at NPC, like, and then so. This stuff goes through my head too. There's other people, like even I talked to Paul. He said the same thing. He's like, it's just sometimes it's a lot. It's like
I spoke to Paul as well, actually. Yeah. Shout out to Paul because I
love him. Yeah, I love him. Yeah.
He did say he was like he gave some really really nice words post show and stuff like that. And like it does happen, like things like this happen and stuff. And I'm really happy with my shape and stuff. And I know I can take it to the next level, but I just need mentally to break through and not have that kind of like hold back on myself in a way because I think I definitely still have that still.
Yeah. Here's the thing is, like, you have to understand, and this is where I make my sacrifice too, and it made it worth it to me because for you and for me, it's not going to be about the money. That's a good part, right? It's fun. Everyone likes money. But the reality is it doesn't really change things that much, right? Even if you win the world championship, you know, it's 50 grand, and you get more business and you're like, cool, it's great money. And it's like, but then what, right? It's not a big deal. Your life's going to be exactly the same. So it has to be more about you having the desire to do it and you having that lifelong goal and you having that like, hey, I did it type of thing. But also you were given a gift, you know, and I was given a gift and we can't waste that gift. And your job, and God gave you that gift and he said, hey, I'm going to make you this way. I'm going to make you a way that everyone else would kill to have that gift.
Yeah.
And it's up to you now to get the most out of it and do the most with it, which, you know, your gift isn't just to you, you know, you win the world championship. How many people benefit from it? Thousands, right? Because you're posing that you do, because of the positive influence that you, who doesn't like Phoebe Hagen, right? Who?
Yeah.
Name someone, right? It's like Jennifer. Everyone loves Jennifer, right? Like you guys are like, that's why she's such a great Miss Olympia, right?
Yeah.
Because like nothing but positive and love and values and like things like that. And you were given this gift that God said, I'm going to make you this and this, the rest of it's on you. How many people can you influence and help, and how many people's role models can you be, right? And it's like, there's just so many. You could be inspiration for a whole country, right? And start a whole thing, and who knows what that can lead to. And that's what I think about with my stuff too, is like, okay, yeah, it's stupid what I do. Because I say it's stupid. I would say it's dumb what I do. I just get girls in shape in bikinis and they get, on the end of things is dumb. But what is that really doing? It's teaching these people how to be lean and how to be fit. But what are they doing with that? Well, they're teaching their kids how to be lean and how to be fit. Their kids are looking up to them, and you're adding life to their years and years to their life, right?
It's so much more than just getting lean and getting on stage and just showing up like in that sense. But yeah, I think it's a lot to process for me, because I think it's even like now talking about it now, I never thought of it in that way, if I'm honest. So yeah, it's a lot. But even
you're gonna face it one day. You don't have to face it anytime soon, but one day, and this is why I still work hard, because I can walk away from this right now and be fine, you know. But I can't face deathbed Adam saying that I didn't try to accomplish this yet. I still have 3 goals to accomplish, right? And one of them is getting you an Olympia title. And I wouldn't be comfortable not having this conversation with you, because it's tough. But I'm not going to face deathbed Adam and say, man, what would happen if I was
I know.
And I'm not going to face deathbed Adam and be like, any regret. Be like,
was there anything else I could have done?
Because you're going to face that girl.
Yeah.
You know, we're all going to die. And one day, you know, be 70, 80, 90, hopefully 120 before you die, right? And you're in your bed and you say, man, remember when I was number 11, number 7 in the world in bikini, but I just like kind of threw away those gifts, and like I gave it my all when I was in prep, but there was 8 months of the year I could have been better, you know? There's that off seasons when I was, you know, making it so much harder on myself to get in shape than I needed to. Because here's the thing, you get in shape. No one doubts your efforts. When you get in the zone, you're in the zone. No one touches you, right? It's an extreme what it takes. And you're not. God gave you all the gifts and your structure and your abilities and everything, but he didn't give you the blessing of losing body fat fast. He didn't give you that. You didn't know. Yeah. He gave you average body fat loss. Yeah. He said, I'm going to give you average body fat loss. But everything else is like world level, right? Yeah. People would do anything they could to have your waistline, your clavicle width, your muscle bellies, your skin tones, right? And then that's where you lose it, and it sucks to I hate to beat you up on it.
No, I know.
And it's like, but I also hate to not do the hard conversations as a coach. Yeah, I think that changes this year, probably 6th or 7th, right? Maybe even 5th. I mean, there's some argument that you could have pushed up higher. It would be naive and stupid, and we would be denying the truth if we said you could be transform into the Olympia, lose 20 pounds the last 14 weeks and be 100% with that having 0 effect on you whatsoever, right? It's just not possible. This is a world level thing. Like, of course there's going to be a difference, right? Yeah. Your waistline could be different. You know, you think about, there's just so many different things that could be factors in it, you know, and now it's, you know, we can get you in shape. We can get you in shape again next year, you know, but it's just up to you on how you get that and how you do it. And that's why I think you competing more often this year is going to be beneficial, because it keeps you keeps you accountable and in check. And then you have to understand and believe that you are this good. Yeah. Because you are, like you really are. Yeah. And it's weird. It's still like I said, it's still a battle in my own head when I'm like by myself and stuff, and I'll look at photos and I'll be like,
picking it apart and just being like, this is wrong, this is wrong, this is wrong. Yeah, I probably deserved lower than 11th. Like, that's the conversation I've had in my head already. Like, so, but I know I need to work on that a lot, because then that's going to transform into the rest of my prep, and then actually try harder in my off season and try more and caring about it, because I do want it. Like, I do want to win one day. Like, I want to do it, but I still don't believe I can do it. So it's almost like it's not like I don't try, because I try and prep.
Yeah.
But I think I could definitely try harder in my off season to then make, like we said, to push it that a little bit extra. Which I know we've probably spoken about. I know we've spoken about this many times over and over and over. And I just need to kind of allow it to stick.
It's on you, yeah, with that. And I'm going to be here for you either way. I mean, I do think that your off season, and I'm not going to deny that you gaining the weight that you did last year and you working hard didn't result in more muscle too.
Yeah.
That happened, but there could be still the same muscle, with you. Yeah, maybe going above what I'll generally say is like 8 to 10% or so if you're going to be competing again. Yeah, maybe you go to 12 to 14%, but not 40-ish, right?
Yeah.
So that's the key. But you could still probably gain just as much muscle that way. But the thing is, you could keep more of it too when you're not dieting as hard.
That's
and
true.
that could be part of it too. Is like, maybe I was thinking, okay, your abs are a little tighter. Yeah, of course, when you do more movement, more activity, more running, more cardio, your abs are going to be a little bit more defined, because it's the natural motion of cardio, right? It's just naturally part of it. So will that contribute? Of course, it'll contribute a little bit, So there's little things, but that's it. I just need you to know, like, how good you are, and that's one of the things too, is like, I want you to compete more in the U.S., and I know that it can get in the way, and I have like 3 goals, right? It's goal number 1 is get Ashley a title back, right? Get her, and if it happens, great, and if it doesn't, I can say we've done everything we can to get it, right? Number 2 is get you a title, and then goal number 3 is get a title from start to finish, right? Get a girl who's like never even competed before all the way. That's it. After that, I can pretty much be retired. I probably won't retire, but I can be like, okay, deathbed Adam, I can say I did it, But I'm years away from that.
Yeah.
Maybe decades away from that. But the two first ones those are sooner, right? Those are sooner. We find out one of those within the next 5 years. The other one we find out in the next like 8, right? With you. So I appreciate you letting me talk to you about it like this.
No, I know. I always want to be. We've done this from days dot, like from the beginning. Always kind of diving into things like a little bit with more information and just being completely honest about it, because I prefer it that way. And I prefer to just kind of be like, this is where we're lying. Do you know what I mean? But yeah, I appreciate you always.
Yeah, and the other thing too that, and I don't care if it's on camera, is that I want to help facilitate that, any way we can, and that's, part of the reason I got the house, right? Is I want to have easy access, not just for you, but other competitors. But yeah, primarily, I want, you're someone I want to be here, because I know we can get that title, and I don't care what it would cost me to get that title. If it helps, and you staying at the house throughout the year, and me, what I want to do too, or I want to say the team money will do, is help pay for your shows throughout the middle of the year, but I want it to be like set in the middle of the years, right? Not just when Phoebe's in shape around the Olympia, but hey, 3-4 months from now, here's one show, we'll pay for it, fly you in, you do your show, you stay at the house, you have to worry about that part of it. 2 months later, Phoebe's show, right? Something like that, because you don't need more muscle now.
No.
Just got to stay tighter, and you're going to naturally build muscle. Even if you're dieting, you're going to build a couple pounds, a kilo next year, which is more than you need, right?
Yeah.
So, because it's not like they're saying, oh, you need way more muscle now.
No.
So that would be something that like our team would be willing to do too.
Well, I really appreciate it, and I that it means a lot for me, especially not having to have that stress as well. So thank you for that. It really means a lot. And I'm excited for like the journey ahead and stuff like that, especially with the house and stuff, because we can do so much with that with other athletes and stuff as well. So I think it'll be cool.
Well, yeah, I want to treat our athletes like a pro team, the ones that have earned it, and you definitely have. And I don't want this to ever come off like I'm not super proud of you, because what you've done is crazy, incredible, and it's rare, and it should be celebrated, right? Yeah. Because it's number 11 in the world is crazy.
It's still, like, I literally remember watching the Olympia like back in like 2016, like 3 o'clock at night in the UK, and being like, that would be amazing to just even step on, to even turn pro, or even like step on the Olympia stage, but that will never happen to Phoebe Hagen from bloody a small town in Worthing from the UK. Like, that will never happen. So for me to be able to say like I've cracked the top, 7 and 11 like 2 years in a row, and I've represented my country, being the only UK bikini athlete to do that, like, is crazy. So I am super, super proud of it. I think there's just there's always something to work on, because there's obviously bodybuilding, right? So I'm excited to just get back to work to it.
Yeah. Your last bit of capturing the remaining girls ahead of you is just you being 100% focused 100% of the time. That's the difference, and that's the edge that you're letting them have on you. You know, that's the only edge they're letting them have on you. You know, because they can go, and last year they could bank on it. They'd be like, well, I can bank on being more in shape right now than Phoebe is, right? I'm getting days on her. I'm capturing days on her. That's another day less of dieting that I don't have to do, that she has to do. So I'm going to pass her. I'm going to pass her. I'm going to capture a day. Today I beat Phoebe, right? And you need to take those days and say, today you're not beating me.
Yeah.
Today you're not beating me.
Yeah.
And tomorrow you're not beating me. And then next year at the Olympia, you're definitely not going to beat me, because I have more days that I cashed in than you did, you know? So, because at the end, everyone's cashing in days. No one's beating anyone.
Everyone is at the top. You know?
Everyone's dieting. Everyone's doing it. They're not losing. No one's losing a day.
Yeah.
But you beat them now. You know, that's where you beat them then.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, that's it. But it's an amazing job. I mean, it's a great job. And if you look at anyone that went into Olympia, I guarantee you then all the whole Olympia, like, you lost more and looked better than anyone who had to lose as much as you did going to Olympia. Which is crazy to do, and you still did this crazy good.
Yeah, so I'm really, really happy. If I'm honest, I'm very, very happy. So
shape was awesome. Yeah, shape was awesome. So
it can be better. So
it can be better.
for that.
It can.
I'm excited. Right.